Hello buddy, Andy here again, down on the beach, sheltering from the wind because I think autumn's finally arrived, and it's pretty blowy down here, but wonderful in its own unique way, with the clouds tearing in above me. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today is about tough decisions that you have to make, because I had to make one today. For those who aren't aware, you might be following my audio booze blogs or whatever. I can't remember where I sort of put details or talk about this particular issue. I've been involved with a couple of events here in Hastings, all tied up with the Hastings Pier and when it burnt down and the aftermath of that, and I said I've got involved with events that are being put on. A couple that I'm particularly involved with, one's a CD of local music, which is going along nicely. There's going to be a bit in the local paper about that this week, I understand. I was interviewed for it on the telephone the other day by a journalist, as was one of my sort of friends who's organising another event. But I was also involved with another event myself and a guy called Ian, another local musician, trying to put together a big show in probably the biggest theatre in town. And going along all right, we were hoping to get a big name comedian, because we had contact with another comedian who knows some of these people. So there's probably a few lessons to be learnt in this. And it was going along, and the event was meant to take place at the end of November. And it'd be going all right. We got all the artists, the bands, we got the theatre, we got the sort of PA system for the bands, spoken to the bands, discussed what they were going to do, but we were sort of waiting for, hopefully, to get this sort of big name that was not promised, but it was likely to happen because of their connection with Hastings. And we had alternatives that could possibly have come along otherwise. But these things, you hang on, you don't get the publicity going. There were other issues in the background, which I'm not going to sort of go into great detail about, but there are other things that we were waiting for as well. So you put these things off. And then suddenly, last night, yes, we were going along quite happily, I thought, as did Ian. And then last night, it suddenly hit me. I thought, hang on a minute. 3.5 weeks to go before the big day. Yes, a lot of it's in place, a lot of it's ongoing, but there's no publicity. We still haven't got that big name. We still haven't started selling tickets. We still haven't got posters sorted out. And then you've got the issues about getting the posters printed, but also the issues about getting them out there, getting them into places that people can see, to publicise the event, to buy tickets. Because it's a type of event, unlike some of the others that are going on, where people are going to buy their tickets beforehand. It's not one of those things where you turn up on the door. Maybe a few can, but that's not the nature of the beast. So I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, and I was laying in bed for quite a long time with this sort of going around in your head, as these things do. And I thought, I'm going to have to make a decision. Obviously, I've got to talk to my colleague Ian as well. But I was thinking, this is getting quite worrying. This is, we haven't got a lot of time here. This could turn out to be a bit of a disaster. If we don't get people in, we're not going to raise money. It's going to make everyone look bad, myself included. And you don't want that sort of thing to happen. Also, it's not going to be the event that you wanted it to be and that you planned it to be. So ultimately, I thought to myself, I'm going to have to say, we can't go ahead. You don't want to do these things. You're going to let some people down. Some of the planning's already been done, and also I've got to talk to my colleague as well and say, look, sorry mate, but I don't think we can go ahead with this for all the reasons that I've outlined. And it's not easy to take those decisions. Some ways the easy option would be just to carry on and think, we'll muddle along, we'll get there in the end, something will happen, it'll sort itself out. But then the sort of realist comes in and you think, no, I had to sell this a bit to my colleague, to be fair. He thought, well, no, I'm sure we could do it. Although, when you start talking about it and you think, well, hang on, yes, you've got a point there, and I've spoken to other people since who've sort of more or less said, I think you've made the right decision there, Andy. I think you're right. You don't want to do something half-baked. You want the event to be a good event. You want it to work well. You want it to be exactly what you want it to be. You want to be associated with something that's good, that's done well, that works, that raises money for the cause that you're interested in. So those are one of those decisions. So I've made one of those today, and it makes you think, and I feel so much better for having done that. But I'm sure I've done it in the past, and I'm sure other people have done it in the past, where they sat around and they thought, let's leave it a little bit longer, because that was the issue here. I felt that we had to make that decision, or I had to make that decision, we had to make that decision today for a number of reasons, partly because the local paper was involved and they were going to publicise it amongst other things with the CD and other events as well, so it had to be done today. You don't want to leave other people, the theatre for example, you don't want to leave them in the lurch and sort of string them along. They want to know what's going on. The local musicians might be able to get other gigs or whatever, and some of them are people who tour internationally and do stuff in London and all that. They're busy people, some of these, and they're giving up their time for nothing to help this particular cause. And respect of all of them means that you should call these things off early rather than let them drag on. So not an easy decision, a tough decision to make, but I know that I've made the right decision. I know it was a tough call, but sometimes you have to sort of stand up and say, no, that's it, we're not going any further, we have to stop. And I'm sure we've all been there before where we haven't done that and we've paid the consequences. Yes, it is a bit of a brave decision to take, yes, but one of the reasons that we're in this position is probably because of failings partly on my part as well. Shouldn't have allowed this sort of thing to get where it's gone, but you still have to make those decisions. So there you go. Maybe a few lessons have been learnt out of this, and if nothing else, that can't be a bad thing, can it? We're still going to hopefully go ahead with this event, or even others in the future, do it slightly differently, plan it a little bit better, a little bit more realistically time scale wise, and hopefully there will be a good event on next year probably, and I'm sure you'll be hearing about it because I should be going on about it, no doubt. Anyway, love to know your stories, any decisions you've made like that, ones that you're very pleased that you made because you know what might have happened in the long run, and also maybe decisions that you didn't make that you wish you damn well had done because of the way that things turned out. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, continue my little walk on the windy beach. Goodbye.